We're going to have a quick rundown of the differences between animal, plant and bacterial cells. We're going to start with the animal and plant cells that we can see on the screen here. And the first thing that I want you to know is that they both have 5 organelles, which are many parts of a cell, which have a function in common. They are the cytoplasm, the nucleus, ribosomes, mitochondrion, and the cell membrane. So they both have those. But plant cells have 3 extra, and those 3 extra are the chloroplast, the vacuole, and the cell wall. We need to know what the functions are of these. The cytoplasm is where chemical reactions take place. The nucleus controls the activities of the cell and holds the DNA, which is the genetic material. Ribosomes are responsible for protein synthesis. Mitochondrion is where energy is released by aerobic respiration. The cell membrane controls what goes in and out of the cell. So because plant and animal cells do all of those things, they need to control what goes in and out. They have DNA, they make proteins, they release energy through aerobic respiration, and they have chemical reactions going on in their cytoplasm. They both have those 5. The 3 that plants have that are different are actually due to the fact that plants are different. And so if you're stuck, you can remember the fact that what is it that plants have that we don't? Well, first of all, plants photosynthesize. So they have chloroplasts, which is the site of photosynthesis. It's what makes them green, but that's not why they've got chloroplasts to make them green. They've got chloroplasts to carry out photosynthesis. They have a vacuole, which is responsible for containing the cell sap and pushing out on the outside of the cell, which is a cell wall. And the cell wall adds rigidity and strength to the cell. These 2 are super important for supporting this plant. We have skeletons and muscles to support our frame, but plants don't have those. So they need a strong cell wall and a plump, what we call turgid cell to push out on the cell wall, and that turgidity is supplied by a really full plump vacuole which pushes out on the cell wall full of cell sap. So they are our animal and our plant cells. 5 organelles in common, 3 extra for a plant cell. The next one is the bacteria cell, and it has some things in common but a couple of things that we need to know that are different. The first thing to say is that it is a cell, and as a cell it is similar, but it's much smaller than a plant or animal cell. So if you saw 3 cells together, the 3 cells might be an animal cell which has no fixed shape because it has no cell wall. You might have a plant cell which might be a bit bigger and a fixed shape, and a bacterial cell will be absolutely tiny. And so what has it got? Well, it's got a cell wall, so that actually makes it similar to a plant cell, although the cell wall is made of something different. It doesn't have a nucleus. Huge difference. This DNA here is not enclosed in a nucleus. It's a circular DNA which is found in the cytoplasm. It still has a cytoplasm. It also has extra pieces of circular DNA called plasmids. It has a flagellum which is used for movement. Okay? And so our bacteria looks different. The most immediate thing is it's smaller and it has a tail, a flagellum, but it's got a cell wall. One thing to say is it still has a cell membrane. All cells have a cell membrane, and that is because all cells need to control what goes in and out of them in order to survive. So a bacteria, it's much smaller, it doesn't have a nucleus, it's got a circular DNA which is found in the cytoplasm, a main piece of DNA, and then tiny little bits of extra DNA called plasmids. It has a cell wall, it might have a flagellum. We need to know those 3 things, and we need to know what each of those does. One last thing to say about bacteria is it does still have ribosomes, because bacteria do make proteins, but it doesn't have a mitochondria, because a mitochondria is actually about the same size as the bacteria, so it'd be way too big to fit in there. So that's animal, plant and bacteria cells. You need to know what they look like, and you need to know what the organelles are in them, and you need to know what those organelles do.